You are great, yes, you are Holy One. Walked upon the sea, raised the dead. Reign in majesty, mighty God. Everything written about you is great. You are great, yes, you are Holy One. Walked upon the sea, raised the dead. You reign in majesty, mighty God. Everything written about you is great. You are 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 great. Oh yeah. You are great. Say you are great. You are great. Say you are great. You are great. Everything, yeah. Everything written about you is great. You are great. You are great. You are great. You are great. Oh, you are great. You are. You are great. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You are great. Say you are great. You are. You are great. Worship you today. You are great. Everything. Everything written about you is great.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. What do you think? You like this? Just for you guys. But my wife says I look like a frozen bomb pop. But I'm still going to wear it for you. At this point, what I'm going to do, first of all, invite everybody to turn their phones off. I'm going to read the names of the countries of origin, and I'll ask you to stand when you hear the country from which you hail. Okay? Albania. Bhutan. Botswana. Brazil. Not that tough. It was shot at the same place. Burma. Cambodia. Canada. China. Congo Kinshasa. Cuba. El Salvador. Ethiopia. Guatemala. India. Iraq. Italy. Laos. Mexico. Myanmar. Philippines. Rwanda. Sri Lanka. Sudan. Taiwan. Thailand. Ukraine. Vietnam. And Yemen. Repeat after me. I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen. That I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by the law. That I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by the law. That I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by the law. And that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. You're in.
Ali, Iraq. Dalila Alvarez, Mexico. Maria Elena Martinez, Cuba. Tran Dong Phan, Canada. Andy Nguyen, Vietnam. Lisbeth Lazaro Espinal, Mexico. Georgina Campos, Mexico. Amar Al-Yassari, Iraq. Miriam Mwenyi, Congo Kinshasa. Sarah Kalanga, Congo Kinshasa. Martha Maria Espino, Mexico. The sound of children crying make me feel at home. My kids are in high school. Jaime Francisco Castillo, Mexico. Nung Buang Fisher, Vietnam. Helen Kung Par, Burma. Moses Tian Liang Uk, Burma. Maria Socorro Balcazar, Mexico. Jing Shu Zhuang, Taiwan. Jay Villarreal, Mexico. Bo Cloud, Cambodia. Sergio Balto Gypsy, Albania. Fern Joy Sasa Botrel, Philippines. Juana Teresa Pablo, Guatemala. Sandra Chun Fang Hao, Taiwan. Neema Sandra Fazio Morris, Italy. Udeni Dansili Kurupu Vaz, Sri Lanka. Gopi Krishnan Karai, India. Abhilasha Papala, India. Ahmad Rasul, Iraq. Nadwa Dafer Hamad Hamad, Iraq. Helen Feng, Burma. Audelia Cisneros, Mexico. Michelle Baraburie, Rwanda. Marcel Kapanda, Congo Kinshasa. Suman Gonde Gurung, Bhutan. Suresh Gonde Gurung, Bhutan. James Dome, Vietnam. Lakpa Dorji Tamang, Bhutan. Fabian Ariola, Mexico. Mercy Nonseba Kei, Botswana. Albert Van Humlien.
Go.
Andrea Christina Bolt, Canada. Radesh Fateh Zangana, Iraq. Blanca Edith Amaya, Mexico. Binu Babi Narakathu, India. Hema Devi Pokhrel, Bhutan. Nidal Shafiq Mohsen Murshid, Yemen. Ildefonso Perez, Mexico. Yana Hang, Laos. Sano Lianlam Pao, Burma. Stasia Petrovna Sherbatyuk, Ukraine. Vasily Semenovich Sherbatyuk, Ukraine. Po Giovanni Ray, Burma. Sang Ngoc Nguyen, Vietnam. Basim Sami Banam, Iraq. Rebecca Kareem Atta, Iraq. Paulina Tatiana Guthrie, El Salvador. Abu Zaid Abbas Abu Zaid, Sudan. Rita Gurum, Bhutan. Xiao Ling Chen, People's Republic of China. Dina Ndeze Mugiza, Congo Kinshasa. Sylvia Mara Sander Vitek, Brazil. Banza Mukalay, Congo Kinshasa. John Touré, Burma. Reina Isabella Kine, Thailand. Barakat Fikre Esatu, Ethiopia. Adanesh Alemu, Ethiopia. Madeline Thuy Tran, Vietnam. Rosie Azucena Lopez, Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you America's newest citizens.
Please stand and join our new citizens in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. It's time I welcome back to the stage. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for allowing me to address you on this life-changing morning. A moment of transformation for you and your families, of course, but also for our country. By choosing to call the United States your home, you are energizing the nation, filling it up with diverse points of view, varied cultures and perspectives, wisdom, experience, and strength. Your presence here this morning gives me hope, even at a time when there is much in the country that suggests that I should despair. You are stepping into the life of your new nation at a very challenging time, at home and abroad. Abroad, the international picture is pretty bleak. Syria is hopelessly mired in bloodshed. We make uncomfortable alliances in a civil war that seemingly defies resolution, and misery persists. On the other side of the world, North Korea rounds its saber, threatening its own people, its neighbors, and now the continental United States with long-range ballistic missiles. On the streets of Great Britain, the Russian government is said to have poisoned a former spy and his daughter with a military-grade nerve agent in what some have called an act of war on British soil. Meanwhile, on the home front, we can't keep our schools safe from military-style assaults committed by children against children. In Washington, we watch in frustration as the Congress tries to decide how, or perhaps whether, to keep our government open. And funding runs out on Friday if they do nothing. Also in our Capitol, insults pass for argument, allegations and denials masquerade on the internet as truth. Pliable versions of the truth shouted across the airwaves make it difficult to know what to believe. Many of us simply tune out, succumbing to apathy and ennui, numbed by the noise, and caught up in the struggle of making ends meet. We lose confidence in ourselves and our institutions. But where are we to find hope in all of this? And then, like a fresh breeze, hope arrives from foreign shores and gathers in an auditorium along the Grand River to take the oath of allegiance. 75 newly naturalized citizens stand, wave flags, and sing to remind those of us who are already citizens why we should count ourselves among the blessed. I can say with confidence that every judge on the Western District bench looks forward to presiding over a naturalization ceremony because it reaffirms our faith in our institutions and in our nation. It gives meaning and purpose to our work. I submit that we can find hope in the fact that despite all that seems to challenge and afflict our country this time in its history, all of you, quite voluntarily, at considerable sacrifice, and for some of you at great peril, have pledged to defend your new country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. You see enough merit, goodness, opportunity, freedom, right here in this country to make this country your home. And you help us see it too. This gives me hope, and what's more, you 75 new citizens are not alone. Last year, over 703,000 people took the oath of allegiance, and approximately 1.1 million others obtained lawful permanent residence in the United States. The sacrifices you made in coming here, in studying to be naturalized, getting fingerprinted, interviewed, and otherwise tested for citizenship, all of these sacrifices inspire me. Your presence here today reminds me that with all its challenges and faults, the United States of America remains a beacon that draws the best and the brightest to this very auditorium. Looking out at the audience this morning proves the point for me. So thank you for your decision to become U.S. citizens and for giving me hope and for allowing me to share in your oath of allegiance this morning. As you know, an oath can be a truly transformative undertaking, a covenant or a bond solemnly made, invoking the divine and binding us together. When we take an oath, we are submitting ourselves to each other under a common principle. Here, the rule of law. We take an oath when we testify in court, when we join the armed forces, when we file our taxes, which incidentally are due next month. We take an oath when we get married. Oaths are important. Given the central role that the oath of allegiance plays in today's ceremony, it is not enough simply to recite it, collect your certificates, and go home. Instead, we should examine the oath more closely to make sure we understand what we have just committed to do. Thank you for that. The oath of allegiance in one form or another has been part of the naturalization process since the first naturalization law in 1790. The applicable federal regulation requires me to administer the oath in public, as I just did, probably to impress upon you the seriousness of the undertaking and to make sure others have seen you do it. This is designed to make us all accountable to each other in matters affecting our citizenship. The words you just uttered, standing with your right hands in the air, accomplish three basic things. First, the words separate you from your past by requiring you to renounce and abjure all allegiance to foreign powers in your country of origin. Second, the oath requires you to, quote, support and defend, end quote, the Constitution and laws of the United States. Third, the oath requires you to serve the country in times of national emergency. Here's what I think is most significant about this oath you just took. The first part assumes that you were previously subject to a person, a prince, potentate, or other sovereign or strongman. The second part of the oath, in contrast, does not replace or substitute your former sovereign with a new ruler or other official. It does not require allegiance to any person, not to me, not the governor, not the president. Instead, and quite deliberately, the oath demands that you support an idea, the rule of law, expressed in our Constitution and laws made pursuant to the Constitution. The oath exalts the rule of law over the law of the ruler. You may not realize how fitting it is that you took the oath of allegiance in this particular place. This museum is dedicated to a man, Gerald R. Ford, who became president not because the citizenry swore allegiance to him, but because he swore allegiance to the Constitution, like you just did. That same Constitution gave him the office of president without bloodshed when his predecessor, Richard Nixon, was forced to resign under the threat of impeachment following the Watergate break-in, the cover-up, and the ensuing investigation by special counsel and congressional committees. President Ford, upon taking the oath of office immediately after Nixon resigned, famously said, and I now quote, "Our Constitution works. Our great republic is a government of laws and not of men," end quote. Those words, in fact, are inscribed at the entrance to the federal building across the river from this museum. What President Ford was saying is that every citizen of the United States, even the one who holds the highest office in the land, is not above the law. As President Ford learned, there is no telling when or from what front our Constitution may be tested. But his oath of office, like your oath of allegiance, reminds us that we must be ready to support and defend our Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. To do so, we must value and respect the institutions that keep us free. Institutions like the court, the press, the Congress, and our own state and local governments, institutions that uphold the rule of law. If you reflect on the oath that I just administered, recalling that you have sworn to support the Constitution and not any particular person or office holder, you will understand that this is how we make our government a government of laws and not of men, as President Ford gratefully observed in 1974. The principle, of course, holds true today. When I told my wife that I was giving a speech this week at a naturalization ceremony, her advice was, the less said the better. Which is what she always says to me when I open my mouth. But I see some of you nodding in agreement, perhaps, or just nodding. But when my wife saw me fussing with my speech, and I said it was because I wanted to inspire you, and not just with the President Declaration. In looking out at the audience, I'm reminded, as I always am during a naturalization ceremony, that it is you who inspire me and my colleagues who preside over these ceremonies. And I say thanks for including me as part of this important celebration, for breathing life into an oath that promises to make our country stronger and that ensures that we will overcome the challenges we now face together. Thank you, congratulations, and welcome to new citizens. This time, Nick will address the new citizens.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think I'm going to take your wife's advice and try to keep it short and simple. On behalf of the Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, my name is Nick. I'm the District Director for that agency here in the state of Michigan, and I want to congratulate all the new Americans and their family members who are here today. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes to express why I think this ceremony is very important, not just to the new Americans, but also to this country as a whole. Now, 75 individuals from 28 different countries, or should I say really 75 individuals from one country, the United States. This is your home now. You're all Americans now. The United States is actually kind of unique in the world in the way citizens become Americans, folks become American citizens. You go through a process. If you remember, you came down to Detroit, you had your interview, you were interviewed by an officer from our agency, you had filled out an application, you underwent a rigorous background check, studied for that test, remember how difficult that test was? But the important thing is that that whole process is over now. This ceremony is the culmination, the end of the lawful immigration process here in this country. I know immigration is a topic that's got a lot of controversy. It's always in the news, there's controversy about it. This ceremony right here is not controversial. This is the least controversial thing we do. This is a process that has been going on for hundreds of years. It is a process that will go on for hundreds more. So the lawful immigration process in this country will continue. It goes on. It makes our country stronger. It makes our country better. I took that oath of allegiance that you just took. I took that many years ago myself. I know you're thinking to yourself, I hear a foreign accent. It is. I come from the country of New York. I'm a New Yorker. But, so that accent is a New York accent. But I came to this country when I was 1 year old. I'm an Albanian immigrant. My father escaped from a communist country back in the 60s. And if it was not for this country's refugee process and process of accepting individuals who are fleeing their countries, we would have never come to this country. I would have never grown up in this country, and I would never have seen the wonderful benefits that this country has to offer. And so personally, this country pretty much saved mine and my family's life, and it does that for millions of people throughout the years that we've been in existence. So that oath that you took, this is a very joyous occasion, and I love all the singing that accompanies these ceremonies. But that oath that you took, that is a solemn occasion. That is an occasion to reflect and think back on those words that you just swore to. America does not care where you came from. We care who you are. This country is unique in that you do not have to have any blood or ancestral or family ties to be a part of this country. You do not have to have any ties at all. You just have to be able to honestly swear that oath and believe in this country's ideals of freedom and liberty and all of those things enshrined in our founding documents. And so please remember that as we go forward. Because a lot of folks, will always indicate that their families have been here for hundreds of years. I will tell you that you new Americans are just as American as someone whose family has been here for hundreds of years. You have all the rights and responsibilities of all Americans now. The only thing you can't do is become president. But who wants that job anyway, am I right? That's a tough job. That's a tough job. So in closing, I just want to congratulate all the new Americans. And really, this is a momentous occasion for all of us. I go to these ceremonies a lot. As a matter of fact, as soon as this ceremony is over, I'm heading over to Sheboygan. How many hours drive is that? About 3. Heading over to Sheboygan to swear, to administer the oath of allegiance to an elderly woman who is homebound and cannot leave her home. And so, yes, we do that. And then I'm going to Marquette tomorrow to administer the oath to 20 individuals in Marquette Courthouse. And so I know I have the unenviable job of driving through this beautiful state to watch new Americans. But I think it's one of the most important things we do. But it is important because the judge wanted me to stress that, yes, your government goes out and actually makes citizens. When they can't come to us, we go to them. And so I congratulate all of you. God bless you and your families. I will say that when I see a room full of new Americans being born each time, I don't know how you can keep from singing. And so God bless all of you and God bless the United States.
This time I would like to thank a few people. I'd like to acknowledge the role that the Innovation Central High School, ROTC folks have played under the direction of Colonel Pat Kowalski. I'd like to thank you'll figure this out, right? Maya Hewlett, Crystal Garcia, Zenny Lucas, and Cassie Harris. Thank you very much. What it means to serve. Also like to thank, of course, our vocalist from the Northern Lights Chorale. Thank you very much. And I don't know if you saw on the way in, but there are folks from the Secretary of State's office set up for voter registration, so on the way out it makes it easy to participate fully as a new citizen. I urge you to stop at the registration. All right, at this time, I'll invite the Northern Lights Chorale back up to sing God Bless America. Please rise as the choir sings. After they sing it once, everyone can join in the second time.
America, America.
is adjourned. You're free to leave at this time if anyone would like to take pictures.